Merlin Santana was born on March 14, 1976, in the Washington Heights neighborhood of New York City. Merlin's parents, Leah and Domingo, came to America from the Dominican Republic.
York. Now, when he was born, the doctors called him a miracle baby because they couldn't believe he came out in 4 months as a normal, healthy baby. Because before that, the doctors told his mother that he would probably have some physical or mental problems, but he survived and turned out to be special. And that's why she named him Merlin after Merlin the magician, because it was like magic in her eyes. Now, growing up, everybody loved him because he was always doing funny stuff and making people laugh. By the age of 3 years old, they met a talent agent that thought Merlin had the potential to be a star and ended up getting him a gig as an advertising model for a national fast food chain. After that, he started landing more gigs faster than a lot of the other kids that used to audition because Merlin could speak English and Spanish because he was half Dominican. Plus, his mother, she wanted him to stay busy because she wanted him to stay out of trouble. Now see, Merlin grew up in one of the most dangerous areas in Manhattan, New York. And his friends was part of the crew, YTC.
Merlin Santana, or as we used to call him, just Merlin, was a kid from down the block on 107th Street, Manhattan Avenue. I met him through Tito. One day we chilling, hanging out on 107th Street, Manhattan Avenue, and Merlin was already getting money with the movie business, with the syndicated TV show, and, so he was the young kid on the block that had a motorbike. I don't remember what kind it was. He kept, riding around the block with his joint, and Tito, being spontaneous, said, let me go talk to my man. I went with him, and it was Merlin. Merlin was cool. He was an actor. He got a star with the Cosby Show. He'd done the Moesha Show and several other things like Under One Roof. He had a movie with Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro. He was doing his thing, coming up, blowing up, and he used to sing, he used to rap, he was doing all kinds of things. Merlin used to hang out with us, he used to be in apartments, he used to chill with us, joke around, and be on the block. It was just all good, all laugh. But Merlin had a fascination with the streets, man, and we used to try to tell, we wish we were you. And he'd want to be us. So, I lend him the Beamer. At the time I had the 525, or Tito would lend him his Beamer, he had a 525 in black, or he'd leave his own Beamer parked on the block. He just had a lot of love for us.
Cops try to raise me, I throw shot the fleet. Crooked cop info coming handy. That be my role model as a YTC.
Episode on this channel when y'all get a chance. That was a good episode. But anyway, now, Merlin's mom would try to keep him doing positive things to keep him out of the streets. Now, while modeling, it eventually led to acting, and him getting his first movie scene, which was an extra in the Woody Allen film, The Purple Rose of Cairo. After that, Merlin got tired of the modeling gigs and just wanted to be an actor. So in 1990, he ended up getting a role as Albert in the Broadway play Hey Little Walter. Now, after the playwright, Bill Cosby was so impressed by him that he wrote his character into The Cosby Show as Stanley, the boyfriend of Rudy Huxtable, played by Keisha Knight Pulliam, and the rival of Rudy's friend Kenny, better known as Bud, played by Deion Richmond. Now, Merlin and Deion Richmond became good friends, and due to their acting on The Cosby Show, they were cast as brothers on the show Getting By with Laverne and Shirley star Cindy Williams and Thelma Hopkins, who played Rachel on Family Matters. That show was filmed in California, so Merlin moved out there, plus there were more opportunities out there also. Now, once in Hollywood, Merlin finally felt he made it and was living a life. After the show Getting By was canceled, he ended up getting a role on the show Sister Sister. He starred in a lot of shows during that time period, like Under the Roof, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and Moesha. Now see, around that time on the show Moesha, right, Steve Harvey ended up getting his own show for the second time on the WB network. His first sitcom was called Me and the Boys on ABC, if y'all remember that show. Now, Brandy wanted Merlin to stay and play her boyfriend with more episodes to come, but he decided to take the role as Romeo Santana on the Steve Harvey Show, and that's how Fredro Starr got his role on Moesha as Brandy's boyfriend. He replaced Merlin Santana. Now see, the role of Romeo Santana was a big role for him. A troubled kid who at first didn't get along with Mr. Hightower, but the two eventually put their differences aside and developed a father-son type relationship. Merlin said he also asked Steve Harvey to incorporate his last name Santana on a sitcom to show the world the different shades of colors on TV, because a lot of times when people see Latino, they either think Portugal or Mexican. He wanted to show the world that there are black and Dominicans too, and that's why he wanted to keep the name Santana in there. Now on the Steve Harvey Show, Merlin was becoming one of the top young rising stars in Hollywood at the time, and the show had a lot of musical guest stars on some episodes like Snoop Dogg was on there, Bow Wow was on there, Diddy, Busta Rhymes, which made Merlin want to pursue music also. And that's when he started working on his rap album.
If they got their murder game tight, then you gotta be better. This all enough to live and guaranteed to make your pockets fatter. Busted the corner block, demented man had him. Sick with it, baby, make your family sad. Whip out the Mossberg, nothing but pitter patter. Never mind the chase, catch him sleeping. Bust him in his face, leave him leaking. My young heathen, kidnap, no letting go. Piss on his wounds, torture very slow.
I love to don't get it twisted, I smoke you in the second floor. Anger grows to me, and I swear to God, the whole world owes me. Slayer hating is just putting out my fire with gasoline. Ass look at my teams when we bust off up in the scene. You had your chance to make up your mind, I'm tired of being stepped on. I'm taking response, leaving your family crying. Sitting in this room alone, wrestling with the mental thoughts. Got plenty of chrome, but I'm constantly thirsty for more.
He could rap too, he had some bars too, man. He could rap. But see, Steve Harvey was becoming a megastar also as the show.
Hey, Miss Altower.
Hey, look, Romeo, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. That's it, man. That's it. What? Look, man, how many times have I told you not to leave your stuff laying around in the middle of the floor in this apartment?
I don't know. About as many times as you told me to clean the kitchen, which I did, or clean my room, which I did, or to come home and do my homework, which is what I'm doing right now. I guess no matter what I do, the only thing you see is what I'm not doing.
Say, man, look, Romeo, wait a minute, man.
Grew and became popular, but they had a lot of competition on that network, like the Wayans Brothers, Parenthood, and Sister Sister. And as the numbers started to fall, Steve wanted to focus on other things because the show ratings were starting to drop. I mean, the show lasted for 6 seasons from 96 to 2002, but it did end up getting syndicated through Fox and UPN. After that, Merlin continued to get some pretty good roles, like the VH1 movie called Played with Tony.
Any idea who the shooters might be?
I seen their grills. I know who they roll with.
That seems to contradict the statement you gave to police.
What you expect? For 5-0 to fly to L.A., slap the cuffs on some dude spitting gangster? That ain't street yard.
Some say this is retaliation for your recent single attacking Jazz.
Oh, it's my fault now. You hear this?
Your lyrics were inflammatory.
I'm an artist. I put it down the way I see it. If that offends folks, that's their problem. Don't buy my records. But those that did this created a whole lot of bad blood on the East Coast.
So what are your plans when you get released from the hospital?
Payback time.
Tony Braxton, Faison Love, and Rashawn Nall as a rapper. Now, I think that movie, that was a good movie too. I love that movie. That movie was based on Tupac and Biggie at the height of the East Coast-West Coast War. That was a good movie. I'm gonna have to watch that later. He also had a role in the movie Showtime with Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro, and a role on the
After the Steve Harvey Show ended in 2002, Merlin Santana found himself in a difficult place. He was waiting for the next big opportunity, but it hadn't come yet. Behind the confident smile was a young man questioning his worth, wondering if Hollywood had already forgotten him.
He thought the cancellation of the show was why he wasn't being respected by people and at the local clubs, which no longer allowed him entry. I saw a lot of me in him, the longing to be accepted and justified, the pain of early childhood abuse, the sense of emptiness within. Merlin would ride around all night looking for places to go, places to belong. He also reminded me of the person I was trying not to be. I began to tell him about the transformations I had made and how I felt that God was working on me every day to make me a better person. I said, find your nucleus and get on your knees and pray. Stay out of the streets and recognize the messages that are being sent to you. He said, I don't know how to pray. I continued, you have to realize that not getting into the club wasn't a personal attack on your manhood, but a message from God to just go home. Roaming the streets will kill you if you can't humble yourself and ask God to show you what to do. All you have to do is ask. With tears in his eyes, he told me, if you and I were together again, I would have a reason to stay home. You could change me if you would just give me another chance. His words sounded sincere, but I knew better. I told him of all the things that looked me square in the eye and told me he couldn't do those things, that he didn't know how. It hurt to hear him accept defeat before trying. With that, he was ready to leave. It was 5 a.m, and he left to roam the streets again. It wouldn't be the last time I saw Merlin. The following week, he came back. But this time, his visit frightened me. It seemed as if those first few seconds we were together passed in slow motion. I answered my door to see him cloaked in black. On anyone else, this would have been nothing, but for some reason, the color was symbolic of his life. He was living in a shroud of darkness. Merlin had forgotten his blue and white pinstriped Yankees hat during his last visit and came to retrieve it. We lay on my bed that night and talked some more. He assumed I didn't want to be with him because his show was canceled. You'll want me when I'm back on, and I'll come back for you. We kissed that night, as we had during his initial visit, and it felt wrong. I told him that nothing sexual would happen, but I would like for him to stay. He was hungry, and I was prepared to feed him and maybe watch a movie. Anything would be better than letting him go back into the streets again. But Merlin refused to stay, and at 4:45 a.m, he left my place. He was disoriented, not even able to find his way out of the bedroom door. I begged him to stay with me for the night, but only sex would keep him with me, something I just couldn't give him. My life was changing, and I knew in my heart that what I was telling him was right and true. God had given it to me, and I was here to give it to him. Merlin just couldn't receive it. 5 days later, on November 10th, 2002, Merlin was shot dead in the early morning.
A man named Jelani Alexander and began working on music in Jelani's home studio, but acting was still his primary focus.
Opportunity and timing played a pivotal role in Merlin Santana's fate.
He wasn't even supposed to be in Los Angeles that weekend. Merlin had made plans to go back to New York and visit his family. But an audition at the last minute for a brand new sitcom forced him to change those plans.
His hands, Merlin would hang out with one of his best friends, who was another child star named Brandon Adams, who y'all might know from the Michael Jackson videos and
television and film roles in movies such as People Under the Stairs, The Mighty Ducks, and the mid-90s classic The Sandlot.
Studio that lived in the Crenshaw district.
Instead, Merlin and a good buddy, actor Brandon Adams, head for the house in Crenshaw to record some tracks. Around midnight, Merlin calls a young woman he and Brandon had met a couple days before at a local restaurant. She introduced herself as Mercedes.
She
saw Santana, she recognized him from the Steve Harvey Show.
And she wanted to get to know him better.
In my opinion, he was flattered that people recognized him.
And on the very same day that they met, they engaged in intimacy. Mercedes called Merlin a few days later so they could meet up again, but this time he wasn't feeling it and played her off. This made Mercedes upset. She felt like she had been used, and now she wanted some get back on Merlin. So she devised an evil lie, a lie that would result in tragedy.
Shit with Merlin, as where he was constantly on the move and not looking for anything very serious. She became highly upset at this.
She was being dropped off by other people who were also in the car, two young men.
Mercedes arrives around 2 a.m., but she's acting strange, flitting about like a nervous butterfly. She makes a phone call, then says she has to leave.
This raised some suspicion on Brandon Adams' part, so Brandon followed her out of the house.
And when he came to the front of the house, he could see Mercedes getting to a large vehicle with two men inside. The same two men who had dropped her off at the home to begin with, even though Merlin and Brandon didn't know that. The vehicle would drive off for a few blocks and then stopped. It would go back to two men, 21-year-old Damian Andre Gates, said by some to be Mercedes' boyfriend, and 25-year-old Brandon Douglas Bynes. She would tell the two men that Merlin and her were together, but it was against her will, because Merlin forced himself on her and violated her. The two men seeked revenge for Monique. Brandon had a strong feeling that in reality, Mercedes was just casing the home and maybe it was best if him and Merlin made their way out, because things just didn't feel right. The two would approach their vehicle to leave the area, but when they got inside the car, the situation would quickly escalate from a suspicion of a setup to a full-blown attack. Brandon would be in the driver's seat and Merlin in the passenger side when Brandon looked at the side mirror and saw a red laser. As he looked closer, he could see two men running toward their car, both armed with guns. Brandon would yell for Merlin to duck before pulling off as fast as he could, but as he did that, the two men would begin to fire. The chaotic scene lasted nothing but a few seconds, but those few seconds were enough to change everything forever. Back toward the vehicle, one of the bullets would enter through the car's trunk. The trajectory of the bullet would go through the passenger side seat and strike Merlin in the back of the head, killing him instantly. Brandon would look over and see Merlin slumped forward as he yelled his name, hoping that the injury wasn't as bad as it seemed, hoping that Merlin would say something. But Merlin was unresponsive as he bled profusely from his head, indicating that this was much worse. Brandon would flag down a patrol car that happened to be passing by them and told them what happened, but it was too late. Merlin was gone. The only question was, why? As police and EMS combed through the vehicle Merlin was killed in, they'd find his cell phone and began to investigate who he last spoke to. Brandon would tell authorities about Merlin's call to Mercedes and how strangely she had been behaving, so the cops thought of an idea. They had Brandon make a call to Mercedes where he would ask her to meet him at a restaurant. She would agree to meet, which was very surprising, but when she did, officers were there waiting to take her in for questioning. It was here that authorities would learn the true reason behind Merlin's death. According to reports, it was said that Mercedes, whose real name was Monique King, learned that she had also told Merlin that she was of legal age, but in actuality, this entire plan, the vicious lie that led to the death of the talented young man, all came from the mind of a 15-year-old girl. At first, when questioned, Monique argued that she did nothing wrong and had nothing to say, until one officer would let her know that she could either be a suspect or be a witness to what happened, seeing as how nobody else saw what happened. After hours of questioning, she herself admitted to lying to these men and having Merlin killed. The two men took her word and followed through with the murder of someone who did absolutely nothing to deserve it. A massive talent taken much too soon, and all because of a girl who couldn't handle rejection, and two men who were stupid enough to believe her lies, throwing their own lives away in the process. Brandon Douglas Bynes was sentenced to 23 years for his role in the death of Merlin Santana. Damian Gates, the man responsible for the shot that killed Merlin, was sentenced to 70 years to life in prison. Monique King, whom lied and set the whole thing up, was a juvenile and tried as an adult. But being tried as an adult really didn't mean too much, since she would only be sentenced to the California Youth Authority, a place for young offenders, to be released at the young age of just 25 years old, meaning she could come out and live a somewhat normal life. At the very least, she had her life, something that Merlin lost, and all because he crossed paths with her. Merlin Santana was buried at St. Raymond's Cemetery in the Bronx.
Merlin Santana is exceptional, a brilliant actor. Merlin comes off as the star.
For a cat who, he's like my brother to me, and I loved him very much.
just the same. You got a heart, hold your heart the same as me. Cause I will bleed with you, share my greed with you, go on my knees with you. So you never need G's with you. Next to all hearts, me and you, we just the same. You got a heart, hold your heart the same as me. Cause I will bleed with you, share my greed with you, go on my knees with you. So you never need G's with you. Remember we fade the bare pictures. Do you know, dog? I remember the first word I ever broke with you. We was young go-getters, never killers. We gave chillers through our cold rap thrillers. The things started getting crazy, out of control. Brothers started trading history with a piece of their soul. Now killers who thinking they can run with them, got the gun with them, but that's the wrong with them. All hearts, me and you, we just the same. You got a heart, hold your heart the same as me. Cause I will bleed with you, share my greed with you, go on my knees with you. So you never need G's with you. They ran down my brother when he didn't even have a strap. What's the odds that my mic win the answer back? Put up on stage showing his rap rage. Not all this silly crap, brothers on attack. Now it's you in the Bronx cemetery. Water body from the hood, let cold and buried. It's a shame you got caught in all this shady. Now it's me left alone, thinking about it. Next to all hearts, me and you, we just the same. You got a heart, hold your heart the same as me. Cause I will bleed with you, share my greed with you, go on my knees with you. So you never.
I had to jump up there and grab it, but I did, you know, I did my best. And it was definitely a challenge, for sure. Whatever's next, man, you know? I can't call it. Gotta ask the man upstairs.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk that ocean. Talk to him. Let's go.